So we have an episode coming up, ladies and gentlemen, that could be sensitive to some listeners and some viewers. There'll be conversations around drugs, alcohol and suicide. So a warning for you that if those topics are sensitive for you, you might want to switch off or watch with care.
Welcome to the ABandOfBrothers Podcast. We're a show where ordinary men speak about things most of us keep locked away. No filters, no judgment, no generic advice, just real stories, real turning point, and simple acts of just being heard.
Coming up.
If you are to say no, do it quickly, as if the wrong food has arrived at your table in the restaurant. Because if you don't, you're going to pay for that meal whether or not you eat it. So it is a matter of just saying, do you know what? I don't have capacity. I think it's okay for me to say, no, I can't. No, it's too much. I need help. I don't know how to do this.
I can take accountability for what's going on for me and recognize that it's not about him. And I work through one of the tools that we have to allow myself to check in with my own accountability and get grounded.
And that for me was then accepting I'm a broken human here. There are things that are not right and things that need to be fixed. So then choice number 2 is, okay, lean in and do that hard work and pull back those covers and have a look at the monsters under the bed, or bury your head. Use weed, use alcohol, use whatever, and kind of keep going the way I was going. And I chose to start doing the hard work and to start looking into things.
Let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to the ABandOfBrothers Podcast. Today we're going to talk about a few different topics, which you'll find out later in the episode. But today we're actually accompanied by not just Scott, our main man Jasper. Do you want to introduce yourself, Jasper?
Yeah, sure. Jasper Jameson. I'm a mentor with ABandOfBrothers, but I also work as the national fundraising officer for ABandOfBrothers. So I support all the communities to try and raise money to help us do the work we do. So we need about £600,000 in the next year to be able to facilitate everything that we do. So that's kind of one of the responsibilities I wear, as well as being a mentor. Yeah.
And how long have you been a part of ABandOfBrothers? I know you very well, Jasper, but do you want to tell everyone else how long you've been a part of ABandOfBrothers?
Pretty much the same as you. My first intro event was in March last year. I work with a charity. I work with homeless people, and the ABandOfBrothers guys had gone into the charity and done a presentation. And it was one of my colleagues, it was a girl who turned around, handed me a leaflet and said, Jasper, this is a bit of you. So I had a look at it. I reached out, did an intro night, and then signed up instantly. Presentation. So I did my Quest weekend with you, May last year.
Yep.
And then went through the whole cycles to become a man of ABandOfBrothers. And I think it was in August they advertised this position as growing the fundraising. And I just thought, I'll put my hand up.
Yeah.
I'll try.
So what part of, so obviously there's several communities. What community are you a part of in ABandOfBrothers?
I'm a man of the Oxford community.
Okay.
So that's my base. That's my home community, as it were. But as I said, I speak to everyone. There's 13 communities now, with Purbeck, which is going to be 14th, and Manchester North going to be 15 as well. So
it's constantly evolving.
It is growing. There is a demand very much now for what we do.
Wow, well, that's a nice intro. We always start with a little check-in at every start of every episode, just to get an audience an idea of what we do in ABandOfBrothers, but also to make yourself present before we start the episode.
Just before the check-in, I just wanted to recognise the brilliance. I didn't realise that both of you guys have been with ABandOfBrothers for less than a year. And I'm thinking about some other guys that maybe joined the same time, but certainly what you've contributed to our community and what you're contributing to, I'm sure, Oxford, but nationally as well. Massive kudos to both of you in terms of the impact that you're having and your commitment to what we're doing in such a short period of time for new men to have such an impact. I think that's what I love about ABandOfBrothers, that it can, if you find something that you love doing, you can access that and give back at the same time.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
And do you know what, Scott? Actually, leading on from that, I heard a statistic about a few weeks ago, and apparently our Quest cycle weekend, whatever you want to call it, was the most successful in a very long time. So to bring that many new men through, I can imagine, I don't know about Oxford, but Leamington has had a lot of new men that have joined and are repeatedly going to circles. So I think that Quest must have been a real big hit in essence.
And we had a window of time before your Quest weekend where we didn't have a weekend the autumn before. So it was actually a 1 year gap between the last Quest weekend and then your Quest weekend.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And there was something, I think, for us in Leamington where we put some real intentionality behind let's grow. We needed to.
Yeah.
And the combination of the older men, which you would be classed as one of the older men, and then the new men, the younger men like yourself, that bonding of walking side by side, not only from us as mentors holding the space, but you as a cohort coming through. I've witnessed the impact of. We've had a number of those guys on the podcast coming in as guests, and just the brotherhood that's been formed. I know I've met guys from. We've had some of the guys from my weekend, some of the younger guys, like Nathan, just be part of the conversation. You always remember. I've always remembered those guys from the weekend that I came on because it was such a special experience. And you can come on other weekends and staff them, but
and I think you might have just spoiled one of the episodes if this isn't out after.
Right. We'll find out. It's a lovely experience to have an initiated brother that was on my same weekend. That's what I really like.
Yeah.
And I think that there is a magic to that.
Yeah. I think that leads nicely into the check-in.
Yes.
So we'll do roughly, I don't know, a minute, but if it take a bit longer, it doesn't matter. Everyone, if you haven't understand what a check-in round is, we've explained it in loads of other podcasts, so I don't want to keep going over it. But yeah, it's basically just a minute where a man can check in with what's present for them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we also try and activate active listening, which from my experience, doesn't happen very often within groups of people. But yeah, do you know what? This week I'm going to kick it off with me, man.
Nice.
So it's James checking in. Life's pretty stressful at the minute. So I thought life was going great. Like, I had my job. I was thinking, buzzing. I'm going to get paid this week. I was thinking, sick. And then it all came crashing down on Friday. Well, actually, it came crashing down on Thursday. But I kind of instinctively knew that Friday was going to happen. But I didn't quite realise how quick it was going to happen. So yeah, on Friday, I got pulled into the manager's office, and there's one or two things. You're either about to get a pay increase or you're getting sacked. And unfortunately, it was the second option. So yeah, they unfortunately let go of me because of a situation that happened, which I kind of involved myself in, which I didn't need to. And yeah, it pretty much ended my job. So yeah, it's been pretty a whirlwind. I'm trying to go sober. That's my big quest at the minute. So it's not very long. I was 2 weeks sober then, or 2.5, 2 weeks, I think. And it was so hard not to pick a drink up on that Friday, thinking just want to blow it all. Managed not to, which was good result. But yeah, then I just thought, do you know what? As soon as I got basically you can go home, I pretty much rung every single window company in a 3 mile radius just to try and get my name out there originally. A few of them said they're not interested, but a few of them did say they would get back to me, so I'm still waiting to hear that. And then today I kind of woke up with the mindset of I need to make sure that I'm being proactive. I want to make sure I'm in the mindset of having a job without actually having a job. So I rang about 20 odd different agencies. I applied for about 15 jobs. And if anyone knows about applying for jobs, Jesus Christ, it killed me. There was so many dumb questions, like you've answered it all in your CV, but then you have to answer it all again. So yeah, and then life's pretty up and down, and then I completely forgot. I didn't actually forget we were recording today. I temporarily lost track in my mind exactly when it was. And it wasn't until, I'm going to be completely honest, I walked in the door after a long drive back from Bromsgrove, which was a hectic day enough with absolute idiots on the road. Sit down, I'm about to eat my lasagna, and I get a call, and I think, shit, it's bloody Adam. Pick up the phone. You nearly here, mate? Yeah, I'm 5 minutes away. I'm still cutting my lasagna, eating my food, and I'm thinking, fuck. So I'm eating that quickly, drove here really fast, in speed limit, I'd like to add. And then, yeah, sat down and here we are. God, it's been a whirlwind for me the last 2-3 days. Jesus Christ. I didn't think life was going to be so hectic, but it has been. And, yeah, with that, I'm kind of checked in. Hectic life, that will be my current summary of my check-in.
Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You or me?
After you, sir.
Scott checking in. I'm in a good place. I've had a weekend away. Sunshine. It was beautiful weather this weekend. I've been walking, eating, spending time with family. Yeah, I don't know if I've got much more. I've been thinking about I think what came up from me in your check-in that was true for me as well is thinking about my future and almost imagining what I want my future to be like. And I did, on the walks that I've had, actually had some really good conversations about the next stage of my life and how much intentionality I want to bring to it and how much I want to wait and see. And I don't know. So I decided to wait and see. That's my mantra for this year, actually, is to wait and see. Because I know I can force stuff, but to be patient and to wait and see actually feels less comfortable, and I'm down for that. I'm actually happy to sit with the discomfort. That feels like a stretch. So, yeah, I'm in with that.
I hear you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys, Jasper checking in. I'm in a really good place. I feel I'm really at a point of taking back agency. Really, my sovereign is back on that seat and is directing things now at the moment. I could very much relate to what you're saying about looking for jobs. I have been working on finding a job I love, a job I'm very successful at. Horrible commute. I mean, 4 hours a day, 4 days a week. And I had lost control of a lot of the other parts of my life, and I was finding the excuses that I didn't have time. And I kind of had a moment with myself, and I just said, okay, what's the big problem here is time. So I need to deal with that job. That's the thing I need to do, is free up the time. And I did the lazy thing. Copied and pasted CVs on Indeed and everywhere else. Sent them out everywhere. Scattergunned them out on top of that job. Apply for 30 jobs. That's me done. And I was just going through the motions. And then again, I had a word with myself and I said, no, I need to sit down. I need to allocate a certain amount of time. So I did 4 hours on a Sunday where I'm going to diligently look, seek jobs and tailor and apply specifically for them. I've done that, had an interview, and then on Monday this week I got a call to say I've been offered a position that I wanted, which is going to reduce my commute to 1 hour a day from 4 hours a day. And for me, as somebody who would be, when I was unhappy at work, younger version of me, self-sabotage. I'd come in late, I'd get cheeky, I'd work to rule, I'd wait to be told what to do, I'd be picky and annoy people until it got to the stage where my position became untenable. So rather than being grown up and finishing the job, not to make it obvious, but that was me. I would sabotage myself, if you know what I mean. Whereas now, I mean, I bloody should do at 55 years old. I adulted, do you know what I mean? I identified something was wrong and I took steps and I put things in place. So even for me, is to check in and say, yeah, you did the right thing there, because those old behaviors could easily creep back as well for me. So yeah, I'm in a good place with agency, excited about a new opportunity and thrilled to be here. Great to see you guys as well from the Quest Weekend. So yeah, in a good place. And I'm in.
Thank you, Jasper.
Wow, that was a powerful check-in.
Yeah, I just want to share something, if I may. I don't think anything happens. Things happen for a reason. Things happen for a reason. And it was almost like listening to a brilliant role modeling of an answer and response that we experience in the mentoring space, where we were talking just before James got here about your life and you know what it is to be a bit hectic and a bit chaotic. So you completely understood where James was coming from before he turned up in the room. Yeah. We've just heard your check-in and Jasper, without giving any advice, has just shared wisdom and knowledge that's accessible to you if you want to listen to it and take for it what you will. And that's what we do in mentoring, is we're not there to tell someone how to do something. We're just there to share, I know what you're going through. I can experience that, and here's an option, or here's another one.
Yeah.
So I love watching that.
And I can still do the other behavior.
Yeah.
that tendency is still in me. I think it's like a riverbed.
Mm.
That behavior can be carved in there, and it's very easy to lean back into those behaviors. I think behavior for me is elastic. You can change it, you can shape it, you can move it, but if you're not vigilant with it, it will snap back into how it used to be.
Yeah, I like that analogy. Yeah.
Consciousness of your behavior, choosing the behavior that you
Yeah,
have.
very much.
Choosing the behaviour. I think, Scott, you seem a bit more grounded today. Do you want to introduce what topic we are thinking of talking about? Because I have... That was cue for James hasn't read the notes and Scott has. So Scott, I think Scott's more grounded than me.
Can I say that did sound like accountability?
And the topic and the topic definitely isn't about accountability.
Jasper's just chosen the topic. I think that's it. we have something. Actually, we're going to practice it tonight at Circle. We have two of our best tools that we use to help men be accountable and to explore the things that trigger us. So so one aspect is somebody's presence or something in life we witness in another person. It might agitate us to the point where for me, if I talk from my own perspective, I'm so agitated. My son, who I love dearly, is my greatest agitator. He was away with us this weekend, and he's just doing him. He's a 20-year-old guy just doing life. And I was so agitated and I couldn't let go of it. And what I'm appreciative of now is because of because of a band of brothers, I can take accountability for what's going on for me and recognize that it's not about him. And I work through one of the tools that we have to allow myself to check in with my own accountability and get grounded. So actually, when you say I'm grounded, thank you for noticing, because I've not felt grounded this weekend, but I feel grounded now. Why are you smiling?
I'm just thinking, like, the problem, my head at the minute, it feels like I don't want to go into it too much, but I don't notice myself doing the thing that I should do most, is active listening. And I feel like that's an accountability piece, because around that is because one of the main things I get really rattled with is when people are checking in and all you can hear is paper rustling or they're picking with their coat, and it drives me insane. And I was thinking, when you said about accountability and the triggers, I think there was a trigger today, and that's what I had the mindset when I was coming out. I was like, I'm going to hold these. I'm going to go off at them. I was getting proper angry with myself because they kept calling me this, that, and the other. And I think the thing was doing too much and realising that it is a charity and I'm not getting paid for it. And now I feel it ever most because have no stream of income. I'm feeling it the most. And it was today when someone in a band of brothers at a higher level was sending me all this stuff about social media and PR and all this, and I was getting more and more wound up because I was like, in a minute I'm going to block your number because you're doing my head in that much. And it wasn't, I feel like it was a trigger for me because in essence I've always noticed it, when people ask me to do things I'm less inclined to do them than when I like just do them, you know what I'm saying? And I think the accountability piece is just kind of unraveled because the social media thing I was meant to do weeks ago and I haven't done it. So now the messages get stacked higher. And then also the accountability with this. I knew that we were filming a podcast, but I kind of let it slip my mind knowingly we were going to... and I thought, it'd be all right. Because at the minute, like you were saying earlier in your check-in, you're kind of going with the flow with your job. I'm going to just go with the flow in life at the minute. I need to get a bit of hold with that. And I think that's like kind of me with accountability at this current moment. But yeah, I feel like, go on, Jasper. Do you want to speak? Do you want to speak a little bit into your accountability?
And I will say, for me as well, one of my greatest weaknesses, I suppose, one of the best areas I developed was about being a people pleaser. Now, I came from a background of a very aggressive father, which is fine. He did the best he could. He was a loving man, but he was a loving abuser. And I learned to people please. I learned to be funny. I learned to read a room. So I had burdens I carry, which are that I had a hairline, fight or flight trigger. But I had gifts. Read a room. I can entertain people. I can take instructions very well. But for me, I couldn't abide to say no, that somebody might think badly of me. And I would take on too much. And I think that lesson for me, one of my lessons certainly was about boundaries.
Yeah.
And just saying no. And there's a lovely phrase that it was a Zen Buddhist, Heyman Suna, and he said, if you are to say no, do it quickly, as if the wrong food has arrived at your table in the restaurant. Because if you don't, you're going to pay for that meal whether or not you eat it. So it is a matter of just saying, do you know what? I don't have capacity. I think it's okay for me to say, no, I can't. No, it's too much. I need help. I don't know how to do this. Whereas, and for someone to try and say, do you know what? If you don't like me, that's fucking fine.
Yeah.
Give me a minute. You'll be in the rearview mirror. We could just go about our business. But I think from being a Jasper for my parents, from my partner, from my kids, from my work colleagues, from my friends, for my boss, I didn't know who I was. Is to now just to be accountable to me, to say, this is me. I'm one man. You can like me or not, but I'm in integrity with myself. And I think that's where it is. But for me, if I give my word, I will see it through. And that's where, when I promise things and I couldn't deliver, my classic would be, my boss would ask me to work on Saturday, I'd say fine. My partner would say, we need to do some decorating on Saturday, I'd say fine. My mate would say, you have the van, can you help me move Saturday? I'd say, yeah, fine. Friday, I'm out in the fucking beer, turn the phone off, I don't come home until 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm useless to everyone. I have pissed 3 people off and let 3 people down. Eventually on Saturday evening, I might turn my phone on and kind of go, you know that thing? Whereas I just turn around and say, no, I can't do that. So, and that made me feel so uncomfortable when I was out of integrity with myself, and it made me shut off and then just avoid things and then just bury my head, kind of get in that ball and lick the wounds and be afraid of doing anything.
There's something you just said there, though, which I'd love to explore. A Jasper for this person, a Jasper for that person.
Yeah.
But I know what it is also to try and be different people for different people.
Yeah.
What changed for you? Why did it change? Because you didn't describe, you said this me, like you're now talking about a being that's here, not Jasper for anyone, or not even Jasper, just you.
Yeah.
So what was that?
Honestly, I think it got to the stage waking up in a prison cell. And I think that's where we'll get to the crux of, for me, my journey and accountability as well. And is realizing that when you're in a cell on your own, and the Americans called it a penitentiary because you were penitent, it was time to reflect, to look for the light and everything else like that. And for me to be locked up on my own and not be able to run away from myself, I think that was where I was faced with my first of a couple of key choices. And for me, choice number 1 was to either regret what I had done or regret being caught. Now, if I regretted what I'd just been caught, I would try and find a better way of doing the same thing. Nothing would change. So I regretted what I had done. And that for me was then accepting I'm a broken human here. There are things that are not right and things that need to be fixed. So then choice number 2 is, okay, lean in and do that hard work and pull back those covers and have a look at the monsters under the bed, or bury your head. Use weed, use alcohol, use whatever, and kind of keep going the way I was going. And I chose to start doing the hard work and to start looking into things, and then to start identifying those patterns of behavior. Why is a certain thing triggering for me? Why is a certain thing comforting for me? Do you know, and I will say there's one thing that was only when I was about a year and a half ago, was in the kitchen. I was cooking away with my partner and she was there, and I had Spotify on. I'm calling out, play Neil Young After the Gold Rush, and play this and play that and play the other, and I'm playing all an eclectic mix of music. And she just turned around and she said, where did you get this music from? And I said, well, I grew up, this is the music I grew up to. And it just dawned on me why music is so comforting for me. Because when my dad was playing music in the house, things were chill. Now, there are negative associations that I had, which would then bring out other things, and a fear of rejection. The little boy who felt I wasn't worth being loved. If Dad's angry, if I'm 4 years old, I've made him angry. It doesn't matter that his overtime has been cut or he's had a puncture in the car. When he came in angry, I took the blame for that. And for years, that little boy is just saying, I'm not worthy of being loved. I'm not worthy of anyone's attention here. And I was trying too hard. So it's a long process and about 1,000 hours of kind of therapies and group interventions and everything else, and delving into it.
So you know what, Jasper? So I'm going to rewind us a little bit here, because I've just realised something really important. People don't really know who you are. They know a little bit about you. Do you want to take us back to the earliest memory you have where you thought that's where it kind of changed your life, and like almost to the present? So from when you first grew up all the way, like kind of your story around what happened, because you've touched on you went to prison. I don't know if you want to speak a little bit. I know obviously that's not the man you are today, but I don't know if that's kind of a thing that changed your life, and because you already kind of touched on that, it kind of led you on a path of which side you want to touch. So is there anything within there or an experience that you from prison or before prison that kind of made you realise shit, or even after prison that made you realise shit, I need to change my life for the better?
Do you know something? It's a really good observation, and there's so much in my life that I've reflected on now. And I think this is where, when it came to taking accountability, it was a matter of being a little bit forensic and third person about my younger self. And I looked at it. I think we spoke about this on
I think we might have done, yeah.
And what I realised was there's a 20-year-old Jasper. It was never a bad man, was never a cruel man, was never an abusive man, but he did bad, cruel and abusive things. Now, a 20-year-old Jasper had a certain amount of emotional intelligence and a certain cognitive capacity, and then had chaos on various levels and background states that were interfering. So when I was met with information, when I was met with data, I made the best decision I could with that data at that time. And when I realized that, I started to look at my life and my mistakes and all those events and all those things that were giving me shame and regret. I looked at them more like an air crash investigator, and to say, okay, well, what make of plane was it? How old was it? When was it on service? What was the weather like? Who flew it? Yada, yada, yada. And to understand the causes of that mistake. So primarily to know that I wouldn't make the mistake again. And then on a step back a bit, I realized, okay, by looking at that forensically and dispassionately, not absolving myself of responsibility, but by looking at it that way, it meant that I'm able to extract that lesson from there and prevent it from happening again. And then my initial thought was, well, if I was in the same situation, I'd have a very different outcome. But I think it goes deeper than that. Because now, having examined that mistake, suboptimal outcome, let's not even say it's a mistake, a suboptimal outcome, I know now I'm going to take interventions long before I'm in that situation where I have a flashpoint or I have a high-risk situation to deal with. So I think that was where it was taking accountability. And it was one of the behavioral courses, I will say, when I'm not going to go into the nature of my offence, but I went to court and I pled guilty immediately. I handed myself into police, gave interviews, I pled guilty. I was sentenced, I came out and I met my offender manager, first offender manager. He turned around and said, we'll help you on the journey to take responsibility. And I went, the fuck are you talking about? I pled guilty. We're not taking responsibility. I've done it. You know, and I thought I was done. But then over a period of time.
How many years were you in prison? Because you did speak to me a little bit.
Over 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Over 10 years.
So you had plenty of time of reflection then.
Absolutely.
Was it, do you think, was it the moment you went in that you found out what you were getting sentenced with, you realised it was changed, or was it months later after you were sitting in a jail cell?
I was a process, and it was about 4 years, I think.
Okay.
Because when I went into prison first, I accepted that I was going to be there for years, and I pled guilty. But I didn't do my work. I did everyone else's work. I was a mentor. I was literate and articulate, so I helped other guys on the wing. I was a support worker and a peer support
Which goes back to the people pleasing.
Goes back to the people pleasing, and then being busy with everyone else's stuff and advising them on what to do. And I never looked under the covers because I'm fine. I'm grand. Everything is in control here. And it got to the stage where I looked at it, and it comes back to that taking responsibility, where I said, okay, I pled guilty, I've taken responsibility. Then I realized was as I used words like, I lost control. I was drunk. I was this, I was that, I was provoked, I was blah, 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 and there are all these things.
Always external.
And that was when I learned the power of a reductive statement. I did this. Full fucking stop. There was no, and I didn't lose control. I had relinquished control in years and months, because there were times in my life with that chaos, where I felt I was a little out of control. I closed my eyes and took my hands up the steering wheel and just let life go where it does. And whatever happens, that's the next catalyst, instead of taking control and taking an active decision.
So my wait and see is not very good. Hearing that, I don't want to wait and see.
No, can I say there's a difference between having cruise control and closing your eyes. Right. There's a difference. And I will say, there's another I love from Hamlet. There is nothing good or bad, save thinking makes it so. There are merely events. They can either be a good event or a bad event. You can draw the good or the bad.
Depending on how you think about it.
Depending on how you think about them. And I think once I'd accepted that whatever I do in my life, I'm going to wear that. Whatever I say, they're my words. Whatever I do, they're my actions. And it just makes me far more considered now. I won't be pressed into making the decision. I don't do that people pleasing then. I'll say no unless I'm sure I can commit to something. Yeah, I might miss the odd opportunity, but I won't let people down. And that's where, for me, I know whatever I do, I'm accountable for. And that's, for me, being mindful of that.
Yeah, to be honest, I can kind of lean into that a little bit, in the sense of, if I'm honest, I don't think, even when I pled guilty for my case, I didn't really accept it, because if I'm honest with you, I don't know if we might have to edit this out, how the system works is, it's easier if you plead guilty, you get a lesser charge. So in my head, I thought, I just plead guilty. I'd rather plead guilty. I'd rather get lesser of a sentence. And it wasn't until I was applying for jobs today, and you have to put down if you've got criminal convictions. And I haven't had to do this before, because obviously I managed to, I think it was around the time I was getting charged when I had my last job, so I didn't have to write it down. And I realised, I was like, yeah, this is quite a bad thing that I've done. When you're writing it out and all the sections and that, you think, oh, this is quite bad, this is. I don't think I really, fully admitted my guilt of doing it until I started applying it, until I put it on paper today. I think, shit, no, it's quite bad what I've done. And, yeah, I actually remember having a conversation on the last day of the Quest weekend about, I remember now, I wasn't really worried about him or what I'd done. I was more worried about what I was going to get. And I remember you're on your bed eating snacks, as usual.
Standard.
And I went, oh, Jasper, what shall I do if I go to prison? He said, oh, just keep your head down, you'll be sweet. You'll be sweet. I don't think you'll go to prison. I can't remember if you said, I don't think you'll go to prison. Anyway, there was a little bit of back and forward about it. And I said, what did you do? He said, I just kept my head down. And I thought, I walked into the docks just before I got sentenced, and I thought, it'll be sound. I'll just keep my head down and it'll all be sweet. And now I know lads that have one of our fellow band of brothers, Stu, we've had on the podcast, if it's been released before, it's a whole different system. It's a whole different life now at the moment, because of how hectic it is. I don't want to speak into that too much, because that's kind of bad mouthing the system, because it's not. It's just more of a case of, maybe when you went to prison, it's probably a lot different now. Potentially.
There's something that I've heard from you, Jasper, which I want to honour, and I read about it this weekend. Lexus of control. So it's a psychological term that people talk about, the Lexus of control. What I love about the language addition that I've heard from what you've said today, we talk about speaking from the eye.
Yeah.
I talk about speaking from the eye, but clearly we talk about speaking from the eye. You've taken it to a whole new level, because if I'm talking from the eye and say, I lost control, I'm still talking from the eye, but my Lexus of control is on losing control outside of me. Yeah. Whereas I did this. Yeah. It has a different feeling.
It does, yeah.
And I love that. And hearing you talk today, I can really understand the accountability piece and how you're really deliberate in everything you say. and what you commit your word to and the choice of the language that you reference. We've talked in previous episodes about one of our agreements that we make in the Band of Brothers of being impeccable with our word. And I think you've modeled brilliantly impeccable language and impeccable use of the word. Thank you for sharing that in this space for our listeners, for James, that they, I think you model it absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And it's a process, and I do check in with myself. And you know something, the other thing I would say is key is just a reflection. Because even if I've had a good outcome, it doesn't mean it's the best outcome it could have been. And there's always going to be that room for improvement. It's a good, better, best type of situation as well. But it's, I think that forgiving myself, that the man that I was, but I can only do that if I choose not to be that man anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've been in classrooms, in prison settings, and I've had someone, guys who'll just turn around, stand up in the middle of class and throw a chair at the window and go, "Oh, it's me ADHD."
Yeah. Externalizing it.
Do you know what I mean? As to say, so hold on, that was a premeditated act that you've used your excuse for. And you do have ADHD. There's no doubt about that. But that does not absolve you of responsibility for your actions as well. And I think it's that thing that it's the classic, and I see it so often, where people will say something that's cruel or hurtful and go, "Oh, it's just banter." And that really irks me, because if I say something, as soon as that has left me, or that text message or that tweet or whatever I do, my authority over that is gone and my intention is lost. Now, if you take offense at what I've said, I have to own that what I said to you was offensive and apologize for that. If you feel it was abusive, I have to own that what I said was abusive. That's not to say that you shouldn't. You feel what you feel, and I feel what I feel. Doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to speak my truth. But there's a way of communicating it. And there's a way of communicating an ask rather than an instruction. And to negotiate, it's that golden bridge thing. I think that I always try and avoid an ultimatum with people, because it become a yes or a no, and red lines can be drawn and things could fall out to say, well, for example, say, "Well, you're really pissing me off." No, okay, well, when you do that thing, I find it irritates me.
Yeah.
Were you always as conscious of your language and also as reflective?
No, and I think that's where my failing was. I thought I was a lot smarter than I was. And I would hear half of what's, as you say, active listening. I would hear half of what people went, "Yeah, fix that. Next. And so there's a great arrogance there I had. But that was a masking an insecurity. Again, that little boy, unloved, not worthy, just trying to please and trying to deal with things and trying to fix things and get things away. I think that's the lesson, where is to turn around and say, so rather than him carrying my shame and pushing him back and trying to deny he exists, is to turn around and say, "No, come on forward. You're okay. Can't be hurt anymore."
Yeah.
And to really take him forward and embrace that. So it's, but it's a process.
Yeah, definitely. I want to kind of wrap everything up that you've just said there into like two things, actually. One is, how is stuff you've learned from A Band of Brothers, and also how is stuff that you've learned of A Band of Brothers helped you, because you do mentoring, right? Yeah. So I'm guessing you've taken your past experience to try and influence that. And what do you want to kind of speak into your like mentoring journey, and kind of how your past experience of accountability and like taking your word and your actions seriously, how has that kind of helped you mentor, I guess? Like, kind of speak to a mentor. I've kind of worded that quite weirdly, but I hope you can unpick it.
No, I think so. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see where we go. I would say a lot of the work I did was in those years in prison. So I was pretty okay. A lot of my kind of shadow I had dealt with, I still continue to do it, and I still find little shadows here and there as well. I found I was a good communicator with people, but I was still prone to advise. And I think that's the difference with A Band of Brothers, with that framework, with that lambing compared to frapping, which is little acronyms. If you join the program, you'll learn all about that. But it's to listen and to just acknowledge what people are saying, and then to empathize with them, and not to fix things. And someone turns around and says, do you know, no, that's shit, isn't it? That is absolutely crap. And I had one client in my other job, an example of this, and it was a lady who had mental health issues, a diagnosis of schizophrenia, and she had psychosis and other things. And she had she was convinced that she had heart conditions, she was having palpitations, she was having brain tumors, and she had been through every test and every kind of screening and scan that she could do, and there was nothing wrong. And all the notes on her kind of care plan, all written saying that she's delusional, she has this and she has this and the other. And people always challenged her on it. So she came in, she was telling me about that, and I said, that must be fucking terrifying. And she looked at me and I said, you've had all these tests and they still can't find what's wrong. That must be terrifying for you. Because that's her truth. I'm not going to turn around and say that she's wrong. Now, the old me would have turned around and said, well, you had all these tests, for God's sake, surely, it's there. So I think that's it. And for me, I would always say, I'll walk along with someone. I'll offer my experience. And if that's for you, that's great. And if it's not, it's fine. I mean, I'll show you the door, but you'll never feel my hand on your back. I'm never going to push you. Sure. And I think that's it. As you say earlier, again, being told what to do or asked what to do is to say, but to invite someone.
Yeah.
And say, had you considered maybe doing this, or had you thought about doing this differently? Or what was the outcome you did expect? What was the outcome you wanted? And to look at those and just to help people. I think that, again, it's that other thing about if you give a man a fish, he eats today. If you teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. And is to help people to develop that ability to challenge the outcome. Instead of having that bias to saying this didn't work, so it won't work again, is to say, well, why didn't it work? Let's go back to it. Let's try it.
Yeah.
And I will say the mentor training, the everything that we've done and how we support each other in circle with supervision and what have you. It's great to share that experience with my peers. It's great to share that knowledge. And the other thing I will say is I learn so much from the young men I mentor. Yeah. It is absolutely, it's incredible. It's a privilege to get an insight into the world that they live in, because it's a very different world to mine. We're working alongside each other in two different worlds. It really is staggering.
Yeah. And do you know what? I want to wrap that about the podcast up with. What's one piece of advice that you've learned from life or ABandOf Brothers, which has set you up in your path at the moment? Like, how is it's set you up in life, pretty much, from accountability to everything. Kind of one small
anecdote.
Go on.
Was pivotal for me.
Go on.
It was the 12th of December 2023, and I was going for my parole hearing. After 10 plus years in prison, I was going for my parole hearing, and it all led to this. My friend, the supervisor, brings me over, 9:45. It's meant to happen at 10 o'clock. It's on the phone because it's COVID-y still and everything else. Starts dialing into the meeting. He'll look into the parole board, look at this, enter your meeting number. He does. And the number doesn't work. So he tries again and the number doesn't work. So he goes on the computer. There's only me and him in the room. He doesn't know me that long, by the way, and he's only a wee guy. So he goes on the computer. He's on Teams. He's on emails. He's on this, that, and the other. 10 o'clock comes, 10:30, 11 o'clock, 11:30. Comes back, and the chair of the parole board turns around and says, even if we were to start the meeting now, it will be too late because I have another meeting this afternoon. We're going to have to adjourn. So, okay. He dialed the parole board to book another meeting, and he explained what had happened. And they said, yeah, we'll put him back in rotation. He should get a date in about 6 to 8 months. And the phone hung up, and he turned around. He was in the room on his own with me, this wee guy, and he just looked and he went, how are you feeling? And I went, I think I'm going to call that a suboptimal outcome. And I smiled at him. And I don't know, and I'll tell you what it was in that moment. It felt like my whole fucking life. I had been drilling and looking for something. And in that moment, I drilled and I hit the mother lode of resilience. It poured out of me, covered me like armor, and I just thought, you can't fucking hurt me. And all I'll say is, if we're going to sum this up, wherever you are, however bad things are, you have a 100% survival rate of fucking shitty days.
Yeah.
You can do another one.
Yeah. Love that.
Wow. I think that was a great place to leave it.
That's a brilliant place.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say.
Thank you, Jasper.
And thank
Pleasure.
you,
No,
thank you for your wisdom. Do you know what? I just don't. I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking, how have we even got to this time? Like, it still feels like we're on minute 1. Like,
I'm really excited to watch this episode back.
Yeah,
I reckon
definitely.
there's so many pearls that have come as gifts in this episode.
yeah.
This is. I watched this back a few times. And
I'm muted as well.
My brain's still on 30 seconds. He just said so much information. It's like my brain is lagging.
That
was a lot of information. But yeah, thank you very much, Jasper, for coming all this way, and I really appreciate it. And thanks, Scott, for your reading the notes and leading the podcast. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Obviously, there is a lot more episodes. I'm hoping this isn't episode 1 and we've just bought it for the rest. But if you want to check out ABandOfBrothers as a whole, if you just search ABandOfBrothers on Google, you'll find all the fundraising.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you want to speak a little bit quickly into that? Because I heard some rumours floating around that you could potentially do it on your phone now.
Absolutely. I said each circle that we have here, there are 13 circles at the moment, 14 and 15 to come. We have a tap to donate system that we can use. So if you know anybody who's in a Band of Brothers, you can just tap on the smartphone and make a donation. If you just go to abandofbrothers.org.uk, you'll see a button on there to donate as well. We need about £600,000 this year. It takes about £2,500 to bring a young man through an entire cycle. And I will just say, it's a privilege for us to do the work we do, but we need your support to do it. So please, please, please do help out. Sign up for the newsletter as well. It's good vibes only. We don't give you scary stories. We just give you happy, good vibes.
That's wicked.
Find the scary stories here.
Yeah, absolutely. The emails are all slimy and kittens and rainbows.
But yeah, thank you very much for watching this podcast. If you can give us a thumbs up, and if you want to leave a comment with anything you've took away from this episode, we'll be sure to answer it.
Subscribe.
And subscribe as well. We don't say that enough. Subscribe, and more subscribe.
And subscribe.
I'll see you soon in a bit.
Cheers. Bye-bye.